The first component of money mind is how you think and feel about money. And that can be both negative and positive. So the negatives are having, for instance, self-limiting beliefs. I'm no good with money, I was no good at maths, I can't seem to control my finances, money goes through my fingers. It's the negative that you've learned, a story, a script that you've learned from your childhood or your early years. Other aspects are basically not using money in a way which is in tune with what's important to you and which is going to be positive to your life and can be actually negative. So it's that psychological construct that we all have where we've got those voices in our head often influencing us to do things that are not in our best interests. Well, self-limiting beliefs are just stories that we've told ourselves over a period of years that we believe are the truth, but they're not the truth. And these are things that often hold us back. It can be in any aspect of life, but insofar as your financial well-being, what we really mean is things that you tell yourself that hold you back from being good with money. Now, it could be, I was no good at maths at school, I'm no good with numbers, money goes through my fingers like water, I can't seem to understand any of this stuff. It's when you keep telling yourself that and you start believing it, it holds you back. In terms of financial well-being, comparing yourself to other people is an absolute recipe for disaster, unhappiness and failure, because there will always be someone who has more than you. There'll always be someone who earns more than you, who's got more stuff than you, who's going on lovely holidays, who's got a wonderful family. And unfortunately, you cannot possibly win that game. And with social media and digital communications, this peer comparison, as we call it, is everywhere. So I would say to you, do not compare your happiness and define your happiness by what other people are doing with the money, because that doesn't matter. Aligning your spending with what's important to you is one of the most important things you can possibly do. Obviously, you need to have enough money coming in, but if then you aren't using that money in a way which is in tune with what you say is important to you, and you're doing things that other people are sort of suggesting are what you should be doing, then you're getting further away from having a true fulfilling life. And very few people actually do stand back and say, what does a good life look like to me? And how am I going to get the most happiness bang for my buck? And it's really, really important to align your spending with what you say is important to you. Because if you start spending money on things that aren't important with you, they get you further away from happiness and fulfillment. And a good example of that is buying a car that you can't really afford because you want to impress people who you don't know, and quite frankly, they don't care. I think the first stage to having a really good relationship with money and a positive relationship with money is to believe that actually you are good with money, you can be good with money, and that you will be good with money. Because self-belief is the number one thing. If you believe it, you will do it. So the first thing is to make that decision in your mind that you are going to be good with money and you are going to get ahead. It's absolutely right that being good with money is not a once and forget thing. It's a daily thing that you have to actually embrace. And the best analogy I can give is eating well and exercising. You don't just eat well one day out of 365. You have to make a decision. There's no such thing as a diet. There is a lifestyle change, and you can make those decisions on a daily basis. Learning to say yes less and no more to certain spending, being more intentional, and actually having a good self-image about yourself, about money, and the role that it plays in your life. It's essential for financial well-being for you to feel in control of your finances. And you do that by taking control of your day-to-day spending and also knowing what you've got and what you owe. And that is a major change for many people. So for instance, one of the most practical things you can do is to not use contactless payment. Because contactless payment, although it's convenient, has been shown to make people do 30% higher level of discretionary and impulse spending than if they part with cash. Because when you part with cash, it's a physical act. And it's something I've taught my children, that until you can learn to actually budget and stay within a budget, you must pay for most things with cash, day-to-day things, coffees and sandwiches and stuff. So you actually think about it a bit more. And this is not about living like a monk. This is just about being intentional and being aware of where your money goes. The other thing is working out where it all does go. Just sitting down and going for your bank statements or looking at one of these apps and just working out if you're spending £1,000 a year on coffees, but you can't save any money in an emergency fund, perhaps you might need to make your own coffee. One of the things that I try and teach people when I do my financial wellbeing courses is that you are the master of your own destiny. No one else. Even if you come from a difficult background or you're earning a low wage, you can and you will improve that. So for instance, rather than investing in investments, you might well invest in yourself to improve your earning potential, to increase your skills. If you lose your job, you haven't lost your ability to actually earn money because you've still got skills, contacts, experience, energy, time. And so I want to hopefully get people to stop thinking like a victim and be a victor. They can and they will take control of their money and they will do better things with it.